Cultural convergence. Cultural convergence suggests that globalization leads to greater cultural similarity worldwide, driven by dominant groups and reduced barriers to cultural exchange. Proponents believe that while globalization can dramatically change cultures, local traditions often endure rather than disappear entirely. An example of this is the Mumbai's Dabawaliya system, where delivery workers transport home-cooked meals using a complex sorting process. This system, characterized by its efficiency and traditional roots, illustrates how local customs can thrive in a rapidly globalizing world, resisting complete assimilation into dominant culture trends. The Dabawaliya symbolize resilience amidst the pressure of modernization. For the next one, we have the cultural imperialism. Cultural imperialism refers to the process by which dominant culture impose themselves on others, often undermining local cultures. This imposition can lead to the erosion or partial destruction of local practices, particularly through the influence of cultures from the global north on those in the global south. An example for this is the Indian sari weavers. Written craft, hand-woven silk sari making in India is at risk due to globalization and the rise of machine-made saris, often for those with less skilled labor in China. Cultural imperialism. This phenomenon is seen as a form of cultural imperialism where dominant cultures undermine local traditions, leading to concern about cultural diversity. The UNESCO's response for this is the UNESCO's adopted a Universal Declaration on Cultural Diversity in 2001. The critics of cultural imperialism like Mike Featherstone argue that globalization does not create cultural uniformity but rather highlights diversity and cultural conflicts. John Tomlinson's view, while acknowledging some global similarities due to capitalism, he emphasizes that globalization is uneven and does not lead to fully global culture, countering the notion of a complete loss of distinct non-Western cultures. The next one we have deterritorialization, refers to the declining significance of geographic location in cultural experiences, as local culture increasingly interacts with global connectivity. This transformation can be both disruptive and empowering, with distance influences reshaping everyday life and altering traditional meanings tied to local environments.
Hello everyone, I am Stella Tenebro and today I would be reporting the cultural convergence McDonaldization. McDonaldization, exploring the principles and impact of McDonaldization. What is McDonaldization? The McDonaldization thesis, according to Ritzer 1997 and 2008, it analyzes the increasing dominance of fast food restaurant principles in various sectors of society worldwide. It draws inspiration from Max Weber's theory of rationalization, applying it to the modern era and focusing on the fast food restaurant as a model for this process. McDonaldization is defined as a process by which the principles of the fast food restaurant are coming to dominate more and more sectors of American society, as well as the rest of the world. It is the latter aspect of the definition that makes it clear that McDonaldization is a globalizing force. So the greatest concern here is the fact that McDonaldization is a force in global cultural homogenization. The five basic dimensions of McDonaldization. First is efficiency, second, calculability, predictability, control, and irrationality of rationality. First is efficiency, emphasizing the most efficient means to achieve desired ends. For example, burgers are assembled and sometimes even cooked in an assembly line fashion. So basically, naka-align na siya tanan para madali ra siya makuha and madali ra siya ma-serve sa mga tawo. Customers want and are expected to acquire and consume their meals efficiently. So basically jud ang mga customers want jud nila nga dali ra jud nga kuan sa ilahang dali ang serbisyo sa ilaha. Another example is the drive-thru. So basically ang customers moagi sila sa drive-thru, di na sila para madali ilahang kanang order, para di na sila malinya, di na sila need mo naog sa ilahang mga cars. So, furthermore, the efficiency of one party helps to ensure that the other will behave in a similar manner. Second is calculability. Focusing on quantity over quality, often leading to a decline in the quality of work and customer experience. Furthermore, the emphasis on how fast the work is to be done means that customers cannot be served high-quality food that almost by definition requires a good deal of time to prepare. Next is predictability, ensuring consistency and uniformity across locations and time, leading to standardized products and predictable customer interaction. Like for example, employees are expected to perform their work in a predictable manner, and for their part, customers are expected to respond with similarly predictable behavior. Thus, when customers enter, employees ask the following script like what they wish to order, and for their part, customers are expected to know what they want or where to look or to find what they want, and they are expected to order, pay, and leave quickly. Employees are expected to thank them when they leave. So, muna siya ang mga predictable manners, mga basic lang sa restaurant. Irrationality of rationality. The paradoxical outcome where rationalization leads to irrational consequences like long lines, dehumanization, and a global sameness. Like for example, the efficiency of the fast food restaurant is often replaced by the inefficiencies associated with long lines of people at the counters or long lines of the cars at the drive-thru window. So another irrationalities of rationality is dehumanization. Employees are forced to work in dehumanizing jobs, like even if kapoy na sila, pugos gapon sila og work. And also the customers are forced to eat in dehumanizing settings, like example in their cars or example magtindog kitungod sa kadaghan man pug tawo sa side first come first serve, then mawad anak kag bangko, so magtindog ra jud, either magtindog ra ka or dito ka sa imong sakyanan na magkaon, which is nakahatag jud siya og irrationality. So, therefore, McDonaldization is a force for increasing global homogeneity. This is because fast food restaurants and many other businesses and organizations throughout the world are based on the same fundamental principles like efficiency, calculability, predictability, control, and the irrationality of rationality. This serves to give them a high degree of structural similarity, even though they may sell very different things, even foods that are quite local in nature. Next is the McDonaldization, expansionism, and globalization. Fast food restaurants, especially McDonald's, have seen significant international success. Over 43% of McDonald's restaurants are outside the US, with a majority of new openings occurring overseas. McDonald's and other highly McDonaldized companies like Starbucks have become global forces. So the McDonald's expand siya. So as you can see, or as you seen in the picture, in the map, the colored red ones are the are the places where there are branches of McDonald's. So majority jud sa world na jud siya mga branch sa McDonald's. So, global spread of McDonald's firms. Companies like Blockbuster and Walmart have expanded globally with thousands of stores. So, same sa mga pa ni siya ang mga connected nga firms sa McDonald's ang Blockbuster and Walmart. And parehas pud sila nga na sila ni-expand na pud sila globally. The next is the local adaptations of McDonaldization. Different countries have developed their own versions of McDonald's fast food restaurants, incorporating local flavors and cuisines. Examples include Tim Hortons in Canada, Nirolas in India, Moss Burger in Japan, and Juicy Burger in Lebanon. Next is the McDonaldization coming full circle. Countries with their own McDonald's institution are now exporting them to the US. Examples na po include the Body Shop from the UK and the Polo Campero from Guatemala. McDonald's as a symbol of American culture. McDonald's has become a global icon representing American culture. Other American fast food chains like Pizza Hut have also been perceived as symbols of American culture in other countries. So kaning McDonald's ay is isa siya ay nag-represent siya sa American culture. Ilahang food dito or daw ang taste nit ato is nag-represent siya sa American culture. Next is McDonaldization beyond fast food. McDonaldization extends beyond the fast food industry, impacting sectors like higher education, mga eskwelahan, churches, social work, and even sex, as exemplified by the global phenomenon of Viagra. So, ang one example ani is ang Viagra lagi. Viagra is designed to help deal with erectile dysfunction, or ED. But it could be argued that it also serves in many ways to McDonaldize sex. Example, by making more predictable the ability of males to perform sexually. Viagra and its use have become global phenomena. So as you can see in the picture, the tablet that was there is kanang mo na siya ang Viagra pill, which is mo na ang tambal dapat sa erectile dysfunction, pero murag na abuse na siya karon, like or murag gigamit na siya in a way sa pag McDonaldize sex. Yeah. Next is McDonaldization, convergence, and variation. McDonaldization emphasizes global convergence but not complete homogenization. There's a global spread of system based on McDonaldization principles. However, there's significant variation in how these systems are implemented around the world. This variation includes differences in the degree and way McDonaldized systems operate efficiently and predictability and etc. McDonaldized systems often face resistance which contributes to continued or even greater differences globally. So as you can see in the picture man, there were different branches of kanang McDonald's across the world. And diba sa Philippines na day 699 branches, not sure. Then sa USA kay 13,000 diba? So daghan kay siya, and even if kanipod siya is ini-expand siya globally, pero dili siya same o ganang price pod sa each country. Kay syempre unsa na mga prices there sa isa ka country is different siya towards nga kuan. Then ang sa ilahang taste is dili siya as in parehas, kay lahi man ang taste sa there sa, like for example there sa Philippines and sa USA, but nasa similarly na jud sila pagka parehas jud. And next, McDonaldization beyond the end product. The debate about McDonaldization has often focused on the wrong issue. The focus has been on end products or going against convergence because of differences between locations. However, McDonaldization is not about end products, but about the underlying system and its principles. This system has been globalized and operates in various domains, but with variations between sectors and regions. There is convergence, but it doesn't lead to complete uniformity and homogeneity. And that's all about my report. Thank you.
My name is Crystal Claire A. Kailaluad, and this is the last topic for cultural convergence, the globalization of nothing. So, globalization of nothing. Globalization of nothing is a concept introduced by sociologist George Ritzer. It describes how cultures around the world increasingly feature standardized, empty forms of products and experiences. This process leads to a convergence of cultures where unique local identities become overshadowed by mass-produced items. Note that it is not globalization is nothing. The term nothing refers to standardized forms that are largely empty in distinctive content, such as chain stores, fast food, and shopping malls. So for example, a mall in one country looks very similar to a mall in another, filled mainly with familiar brands rather than local shops. So Ritzer argues that this phenomenon doesn't mean globalization itself is meaningless. Instead, it shows how certain forms become widespread while losing their original cultural significance. So, as nothing is a social form largely devoid of distinctive content, something, the opposite of nothing, is largely full social forms, those rich in distinctive content. So it refers to products, places, experiences that are rich in local culture, history, and uniqueness. Examples include local arts, traditional foods, handmade crafts, and more. So now, let us discuss the idea of globalization. So globalization is an imperialistic ambitions of nations or states, corporations and organizations, and their imposition throughout the world. Their main interest is in seeing their power, influence, and in some cases, profit grow throughout the world. Hence the term globalization, a combination of grow and globalization. So it emphasizes the expansion and imposition of certain powerful cultures and economic system across the globe. It highlights how dominant corporations and ideas seek to spread their influence, often prioritizing their interest over local identities. So globalization is about the aggressive push of certain cultures, often leading to the overshadowing of the local customs. So what is the relationship of globalization and globalization of nothing? So both concepts explore how global connections affect local cultures. So globalization of nothing shows the outcome, the standardization and loss of uniqueness, while globalization explains the driving forces behind it, like the action of large corporations. So now let us proceed to the four subtypes of nothing. First is the non-places. So these are settings largely devoid of distinctive content. So locations like shopping malls and airport terminals that lack unique characteristics. They offer familiar experiences regardless of where you are in the world. So next is the non-things. These are objects largely devoid of distinctive content. Products like credit card, which are virtually identical regardless of where you use them. They lack distinctive features that reflect local culture. Next is non-people. So those who occupy positions that led them to be devoid of distinctive content, at least in those positions. So workers in these non-places, such as telemarketers, who often follow scripts and provide uniform experience in their respective geographical location. So last is the non-service. These are services largely devoid of distinctive content. So automated services like ATM that offer the same functionality everywhere but lack the personal touch of human interaction. So we have here a case study of cricket. If it is local or from localization or from globalization. So first, let us define cricket. Cricket is a bat and ball game played between two teams, typically consisting of 11 players each. So, cricket ay parang baseball, pero yung baseball is, I think, 8 members lang, pero yung cricket is 11 players. So, cricket has gained significant attention in the field of globalization, with Aparudai's work arguing that it has become decolonized and indigenized in India. He believes that cricket was brought to India by England as a part of colonization, but as Indians have transformed it into their own sport. The media and language played a crucial role in this transformation, as mass Indian publications liberated cricket from its Englishness and vernacularized it in native terms. This led to the game being played widely in India's streets, playgrounds, and villages, making it an important part of many Indians' life. In India and other former English colonies, cricket has become dominated by locals, not by England. They have hijacked the game from the English, making it more aggressive, less sportsmanlike, and more spectacular. Cricket now belongs to a different moral and aesthetic world, becoming an instrument mobilizing national sentiment in the service of transnational spectacles and commoditization. So, while there is much merit in Aparudai's analysis, it is important to remember that cricket was globalized by the English. It was out of the interaction between cricket, globalized by the English, and was centrally conceived, controlled, and lacking in distinctive content or nothing, and the indigenously conceived, controlled, rich in distinctive content cricket, the something produced by localization in India, that the distinctive form of Indian cricket emerged. With all other cultural forms, cricket cannot be reduced to localization or globalization or something or nothing. So why cricket incorporates both localization and globalization? So while it spreads globally, the globalization, it adapts and finds unique expressions in different countries. That is the globalization. Also, cricket in the modern world cannot be exclusively one or the other. It exists on the spectrum. It holds traditional elements, but it is also shaped by the influences of commercialization and entertainment, the nothing. So, we have the something because it holds traditional elements, but it also have the influences of commercialization and entertainment, which is nothing. So, it has the characteristic of the four elements, but it is not part of the four elements. So, that is the end of my report. Thank you.